Born in 1949 in Yako, a small town in what was then called Upper Volta, Thomas Sankara came into a world weighed down by colonial oppression. His father, a military veteran who had served under the French, hoped for a safer, quieter life for his son. But young Thomas was restless, curious, and unusually aware of the injustices around him. He witnessed firsthand the unfairness of colonial rule, where the best jobs, lands, and opportunities went to a privileged few, while the masses lived in poverty. Even as a child, Sankara's sharp intellect stood out. He excelled in school, showed interest in philosophy, history, and politics, and was fascinated by the independence movements sweeping across Africa in the 1950s and 60s. At a young age, Sankara chose to join the military. But unlike many who sought it for prestige, he saw it as a way to serve the people and learn about discipline, leadership, and strategy. He trained in Madagascar, where he witnessed student protests and uprisings against neo-colonial governments. This deeply influenced his worldview. There, he also read about leaders like Che Guevara, Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, and Frantz Fanon, thinkers and revolutionaries who believed Africa's destiny lay in self-reliance and unity. By the time he returned to Upper Volta, Sankara was more than a soldier. He was a man on a mission. In 1983, at just 33 years old, Sankara was appointed Prime Minister, but was quickly dismissed for being too radical. His fiery speeches and anti-corruption stance worried the elite. Later that year, a popular coup led by junior officers brought him to power as president. One of his first acts was to rename the country Burkina Faso, meaning land of upright people, a symbol of dignity and moral integrity. But changing a name was just the beginning. Sankara launched one of the most ambitious social and economic revolutions Africa had ever seen, redistributed land from the elite to peasants and farmers, built over 350 schools, clinics, and water reservoirs in remote areas, vaccinated over 2.5 million children against deadly diseases like polio, measles, and meningitis, in a country where infant mortality was one of the highest in the world, banned forced marriages and encouraged women to work, lead, and serve in the military, promoted local industry, urging people to wear clothes made in Burkina Faso and eat food grown locally. His motto, "Let's produce what we need and consume what we produce." Sankara wasn't just focused on Burkina Faso. He spoke boldly to the rest of Africa and the world, calling for unity and resistance against neo-colonial control. At the 1984 United Nations General Assembly, he declared, "We must choose either champagne for a few or safe drinking water for all." He urged African nations to reject foreign aid under exploitative conditions and to work together toward a self-reliant, prosperous continent. This made him enemies, not only among the local wealthy elite and military generals, but also in foreign governments who saw his ideas as dangerous. France, the former colonial ruler, and several neighboring regimes viewed Sankara as a threat to the established order. On October 15, 1987, after just 4 years in power, Sankara was assassinated in a coup orchestrated by his closest ally and friend, Blaise Compaoré. The betrayal was brutal and swift. Sankara was shot alongside 12 of his comrades. The revolution was violently halted, and Compaoré quickly reversed many of Sankara's policies, aligning once again with foreign powers. It was an assassination meant to silence a voice too loud, too bold, too dangerous for the oppressors to ignore. But Sankara's spirit proved indestructible. Across Africa, his speeches, writings, and revolutionary example became a symbol of African pride, courage, and integrity. To this day, murals of Sankara adorn city walls in West Africa. Young activists quote his words. His story is taught in schools, shared in protests and celebrated in music, film, and books. In 2021, after decades of silence, Blaise Compaoré and others involved in Sankara's murder were finally put on trial in Burkina Faso. It was a small step toward justice,